All right, guys, so I'll show you what it kind of looks like a little bit real quick. So again, weapons up like this. I'm looking over it because there's not a bad guy there, right? I can quickly snap if need to. My stance, again, I'm tightening this leg, tightening this up. I've got a good lean forward, elbows in, and then my weapon situated my shoulder properly. And as I walk, I'm going to roll my heel and my toe, and I'm going to lean forward as I walk, right? We come up here like this, pin this, get that last essay in there. I see this room floods to the right, so I'm going to want to step in with my weapon first, and then clear that room and come across. So it's gonna look something like this. Over here, like this, clear, step in here like this, clear your threshold, push up, come back around, okay? So what this is called right here, I like to work what's called points of domination. A lot of guys like to run the walls and things like that. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like to go to my point of domination, right? A general rule of thumb is gonna be 3 feet in and then like 3 feet off the room, or off the wall essentially, right? So when we step in, we have to get from this point, this room, to that room safe as possible, right? I have to negotiate this doorway. So when I come in, I'm gonna basically prep my feet, right? So I'm gonna be here a little bit. I'm gonna step in, take a small step. And now my hips are facing this way, but I need them to face that way. So I'm gonna preface here, I'm gonna take a small step here, come across, and drive that weapon out. And I'm gonna go to my point of domination. I'm gonna do my primary scan. When I step in, I'm gonna dig this corner. I'm gonna clear this out because this is the most dangerous side of the room, essentially, because it wasn't clear from there. I'm gonna dig this corner here like this. I'm gonna come across and I'm gonna scan for secondary threats, right? And then I'm going to stop essentially right here. Ideally, I would wanna have a second man step in. He would take the opposite side. One man goes right, second man goes left, or vice versa. And when that second man steps in, he will also go to his point of domination, which again will roughly be a 3 foot in, 3 foot off rule, right? He's gonna dig his corner, he's gonna scan, and we're gonna end up having intersecting fields of fire. From there, we will go ahead and we will start talking about what needs to be cleared next. So if we have dead space, if we have another room to move to, a door or closet or whatever it might be, we're gonna start talking about it, and we're gonna work together to go to that problem and fix it. Okay, let's talk about some fundamentals real quick about CQB. There's certain things that we do the majority of times. For example, if you're 2-man in the stack and you've got your point man about to go into a room, let's say he makes entry and he goes to the right. The second man typically going to go to the left. That's going to be like 99% of the time. If 1 man goes right, 2 man goes left, and vice versa. If 1 man goes left, 2 man goes right. They're going to work to their points of domination. Again, a points of domination is going to be, a good rule of thumb is going to be 3 foot into the room and 3 foot off the wall. What they're going to do is they're going to dig their corner when they first come into the room. So we're going to clear out this corner and we're going to start scanning for secondary threats right here. And we're going to end up, if you're 1 and 2 man, in intersecting fields of fire. Now, when we talk about moving, if this were a 2 man, and I was the first man in, and I decided to go right, and I'm at my point of domination, dig my corner, come across, and I say, right side clear. But let's say I need to move off my wall, right? So my wall is gonna be the wall that I stick to, right? As a 1 man, if I step in here, this is gonna be my wall, okay? As a 2 man, if a second man steps in here, that's gonna be his wall there, right? So we're gonna create like an L, essentially, just like this. If I wanna come off my wall and go across, I cannot do that without telling my 2 man, hey, I'm moving. So it looks something like, hey, we step into the room, clear intersection fields of fire, and I tell him I've got an open door in front and I want to move, right? So I'm going to say moving. My 2 man is going to respond with move, and then at that point in time, I'm allowed to come off my wall, right? So I give a verbal cue of, hey, there's something here in front of me. I want to go to it. My 2 man says, okay, I hear what you want, and you're allowed to do that, right? The reason we wouldn't do that is I don't want my 2 man to be looking at this angle here, me not see something, try to step off this wall and him have to engage, and now I get shot in the side, or a bad guy shoots me, right? So it looked like, hey, door in front, moving. He would say move. When he gives me the cue to move, I say okay, and I start negotiating towards this problem. I start walking towards this problem. So we cannot come off our wall until we communicate with our 2 man. That's a big rule and does not need to be broken. For your 2 man, prior to entering the room, if our 1 man is up on a door, if he's up on a door like this or a window or whatever it is, if the 2 man's not to his side or on line with him, he needs to be either gun up, high port, or low port. So the way I run things prior to stepping into a room, like we don't move without a squeeze. A squeeze does not mean to go into the room. It just means like, hey man, I'm here with you and I'm ready when you are, right? So if I squeeze my 1 man as 2, I'm telling him, hey, I'm with you. When you move, I'm going with you. If I squeeze him to go in this room, he steps in the room, I'm coming with him. It does not matter if he goes right then or 10 minutes later. So your squeeze does not necessarily mean, hey, let's go right now. It just means, hey, I'm with you. We run the squeeze on the tricep. Some guys do the thigh, some guys do the shoulder. We like the tricep because we like the tricep better than the shoulder because sometimes if you walk up to a 2 man and you go to trip and fall, You might grab him trying to catch yourself, and he might think that's a squeeze, and you're not ready. You're just trying to catch yourself from falling, you know? So we go down low, and then we squeeze. The squeezes can mean a couple different things. If you give a squeeze, like a fast squeeze, like a jolt, it means that we need to get in this room fast, right? If you give like a slow and steady squeeze, it means, hey, let's take this room slow, right? So let's make a slow entry into the room if it's a slow squeeze. That's kind of advanced stuff. We'll get into that later on. Footwork, I really need a second person here to talk about footwork. Basically, if you're a two-man and I've got a one-man in front of me, my feet need to like mirror his, right? So if I'm two-man and I've got a one-man in front of me and his left foot is forward, my left foot needs to be forward. His right leg's back, my right leg needs to be back, and vice versa. And that's really just for distance and speed. So if one man steps in and we're opposite, I might kick his foot or something like that because my lead foot is going to be the opposite of his. Yeah, and then let's talk manipulation real quick too. So this is a good scenario where I can actually show what manipulation looks like. The issue that we have here is sometimes your gun is going to be longer than you can fit, right? Like I can't get through there. So with that being said, I can't just walk through this room like this because I'm going to catch it, right? So this is going to be where I need to suck this weapon in. I'm going to stick up to the side, prep my feet. I'm going to punch out, boom, just like that, okay? And what this is doing is just turning the angle of your gun. Right, it's like moving furniture essentially, right? You gotta turn your couch sideways. It's kind of like that too. So here, turn it, pull it, suck it in, step in, boom, here, step out. Go to your point of domination, scan, and start talking to your buddy.